kind of hard to.
Hey everyone, Mr. Devil here, Kenny Danico, 3-time Stanley Cup champion of the New Jersey Devils, and you're listening to the Uncle Pucker's New Jersey Devils podcast. Let's go Devils!
Hi guys,
Hey boys.
Hi.
how's everybody doing today?
Hi.
So,
I'm good. I'm feeling brave today. You know what I did?
no, I don't.
I tackled some demons. I went ahead and I had another enchilada. And I'm happy to report I did not lose a tooth this time.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah. I didn't know how long it would be till I, tried another
You
enchilada.
did that so quickly after.
Yeah, it was
That's really
quick.
weird. I had enchiladas for dinner.
You did that so quickly after.
You got to face your fears, Tim.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to suck it up and eat a fucking enchilada, Tim.
Eat enchilada.
Yeah,
What's the
but I feel
chances
like
of
your-
breaking
your
a tooth on an enchilada?
Well, I mean, there's not
should
many
still
foods
be
that are
like
that soft, so I don't
healing.
know.
Exactly. Had to be a fluke. I tested that theory and it was very good.
I was supposed to go back to the dentist today, but I did not. No, I'm not in the fucking mood to go get numbed up and go sit there and deal with that shit again. So I rescheduled. So
For you.
I'm always in the
I
mood to get
guess-
numbed up.
Now
What's
Chris
that?
is just going to numb us up.
yeah, my brain.
Well,
numbing. I need your
you, Mike.
opinion on something, guys. Oh, you just saw that? Yeah, Mike's blaming you, and then I concurred with him. So you guys, like, we talk all the time, and Bobby, you've known me forever. I'm a dog person, and we've always had, like, my old dog, like before my kids were born, like when he got to like 6 or 7, we got another dog to kind of give him somebody to play with later in his life, extend him a little bit. And it worked. And then, when he passed, and then I had the one, then when she got about 6 or 7, I got another one. So I've always kind of had 2 dogs, but so now I'm down to 1 because my other girl, she died about a year or so ago. So now my dog is about 6. I work my ass off. My daughter's away in college. My wife works in the city. My son has his own life and school and everything, but they want another dog. And I want another dog, but I just don't know if I can fit the time in. What's your opinion, guys? Should I just say fuck it and do it and get another dog? Or do I have to be like the responsible adult in this situation?
I don't think it's that easy to just say fuck it and do it, get another dog. If Karen's gone most of the day and your shifts are long, the dog needs to go out, especially if it's a young dog. It needs to get, those breaks. I mean, dude, I don't know how you would do it. Kids aren't there to help.
Well, my son would get home from school around 1:45. So I leave for work around 8:39, give or take. So from like 8:30 to 1:30, 1:45, he would definitely be alone and in his crate.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Yeah.
And then my wife gets home around 4:30. So, then hopefully my son can chill with him for a while and stuff. And then but I'm not there. Like, that's the thing. Like, I've always trained all my dogs and stuff, and I don't have the time. And I think that's what's holding me back because I don't have the time.
Yeah, it's weird because you are a big dog guy. I've always had them as far as I've known you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Sometimes you gotta be grown up about it. Now, me, I love my dog, but I'm not getting another one because we can't like just travel and trying to figure out that sort of thing. It's not working. And I want to go places like Europe type places, and just
can't do that.
We can't do it. I mean, we don't kennel our dog. We don't think it's fair.
No, it's not.
We leave her with people that we know, neighbors and stuff like that when we do a 1 or 2 day thing. But everything else, she's with us, on vacations. I mean, she was in the Wrangler all the way down to Florida last year. She did fine. But
That's
as much as
awesome.
I love her, I'm just kind of like 10 years from now, when I'm nearing the end of working or whatever, might just want to travel.
That's all I want to do. All right. So, Tim, should I get the dog?
Mercer.
No, you shouldn't. Like, because you're gonna feel bad about it when you're on your shift. Like, is your son reliable enough to like?
Yes, he's
look after it
reliable.
the second when he gets home.
Yeah, he is.
You can't get a puppy because that's gonna need a lot more care and maintenance. You're gonna need to hire someone to come between 8 when you leave and when your son gets home.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot. So I'm like, unless you're gonna get like some middle-aged dog, like
Yeah, and I don't want a middle-aged dog.
yeah, you want a puppy, right?
Yeah.
You want
I
a
want a puppy.
little Dawson Mercer.
I don't even know why he asked. He's going to get the puppy.
I don't know yet. That's what I wanted your opinion on it. Now I have to mull it over. But all right. So I guess we should jump into the Nashville game, right? I mean, we have,
sure.
So I mean, what else can you say, right? Just what a bounce back. I mean, we talked about it against the Dallas team that they played all right and they didn't get the results. I mean, but holy shit, they were finishing on Sunday. I mean, be it a really bad Nashville team, and I see that, talking about the fans, the Devil fans that were there, that was one of the coolest things is the amount of Devil fans that were at that game, because it was just, that's all that was left halfway through the third period. And they were chanting, they were having a good time. That was super awesome to see. But, what are you guys' takes on the game? Bob, we'll start with you.
Well, I like the fact that, it's a bottom feeding team. So we blew them up. And I like that. We needed a game like that. 5-0. Looks like we destroyed them. That's good. It's better than going in there and like squeaking one out against that team. So
Right.
I'm fine with the fact that it was a bad team because of the way the outcome was. I'm only disappointed in one thing, that we get 5 goals from this team. And of course, none of them are my prediction that Timo Meier would get on the board. And Tatar getting on the board before Timo. So we got to talk about that a little more. But otherwise, it was just great. It was just fun. We all wanted that type of game. We're all texting each other to say, I want a blowout. I want to see it. I was really disappointed when I thought, excuse me, that Daws was going to lose the shutout. And then, of course, he didn't. Good challenge. He was money,
Dude, he played so good.
Fun.
He's played great.
It's so refreshing not having to deal with bad defense and bad goaltending this year.
What did I send you guys? What did Todd Cordell tweeted out? So they've had 10 games since Markstrom went down, and they're first in save percentage, first in high danger save percentage. They've given up fewer goals than everybody but the Jets. So
and that's in the last 10 games?
That's since Markstrom went down, Daws and Allen. So they've basically been, the best goaltending tandem in the league since Markstrom went down, which is funny. And you're right. It is nice to not have to bitch about goaltending, but now we have this whole other fucking problem that we have to bitch about, which is scoring. And of course, then they go out and they blew the doors off in Nashville, and Nashville stinks. But then Nashville also just came off of beating Colorado. And that's kind of like, hockey's such a funny game. It's such a weird game. Like, they could play great against a good team, Dallas, not win, not finish anything, play okay against Nashville and finish everything. And you're just like, what the fuck? Like, what is this team? I want to roll those 2 games into a little ball and make that what this team is moving forward.
And they dominated play against Nashville. I mean, you can even say they dominated play against the Stars as well, but they dominated play. Like a couple of times in the second, especially that Casey and Hughes tandem got a little pinned back there, but Casey's learning, and I will take him any day of the week over Nemec. I don't want to see Nemec back in this lineup. I like what Seamus Casey brings. I like his offense. I like everything about the kid except for his height. I mean, what is he? He's 3.5 feet tall. I think he's the shortest hockey player ever. And that's on skates.
Yeah, he's our height, Chris.
Yeah, I know. And hey, Michael DeCaro's on. I was just talking to him today. But it is a bit of a curse, right? To have every aspect of our team playing in top form at the same time. We can't do it.
I'm so tired of having like one massive glaring issue with this team. Like, it just like, put all the pieces together, please. Well, one thing, and to your point about them dominating, I wouldn't say, necessarily dominated on the scoreboard, but like play. I think we were a little leaky with chances. We gave up a few breakaways, a few 2-on-1s. There wasn't any real, like, they never really got pinned very deep. And if they did for, over 15, 20 seconds, guys were eating pucks for Daws. Like, Bastian had a couple of good blocks. Pesci ate a lot of pucks. Mercer jumped out of the way of a couple pucks because he's a giant pussy.
Fair enough.
Boy, how he's falling out of favor.
Hey, I gotta play for the crowd here.
I mean, look, I'm kind of, with Mercer and Nemec, I would Utica is another team. I'd rather trade him though, Mike. Wouldn't you? Like just trade Nemec and try and get ourselves a nice piece for him. I mean, I think that's a valuable trade chip. I don't know necessarily. I just don't see if we sign Kovacevic extension. I just don't see a place where Seamus Casey and Nemec. I don't see both of them staying with this team. You can't. There's just the pipeline's too clogged, and especially on the defensive end, I just don't know how you do it. And it looks like they're very interested in re-signing Kovacevic. So yeah, I mean, with the trade deadline a week away, I think you have to do something. You have Mercer, Nemec; those are two extremely valuable trade chips. I think they got to go out and use them. Go and look, the Eastern Conference, with the exception maybe of the Washington Capitals, it's wide open. I mean, I think we have just as good of a shot as anybody. So I say do it.
Yeah, I mean, points wise, we're tied with Carolina right now, and that Rantanen experiment is failing miserably, and it sounds like it's going terribly right now. Like, all the chatter about them potentially flipping him again, which is ridiculous. Like that they would do that, but yeah, I'm still of the mind that we need to maximize the goaltending that we're getting more than anything. Like, we need to maximize the goaltending that we're getting, because I don't know if we're going to get goaltending like this next year or the year after, or the year after that. We have no idea. And we have duplicative assets in that for one spot. We have 3 players for one spot. It kind of sucks that it kind of happened all this way, but nobody saw Kovacevic becoming the player that he did this year. And I think that was the one kind of kink in Fitz's plan. So you have to kind of adapt your plans.
Right.
And we need to adjust to what our needs are. And our needs are scoring. If we can land a good top 6 scoring winger, that with some term, and that's the thing. It's like, I wouldn't flip Nemec for like Brock Besser with no term. Like, I don't think that makes any sense. Like, if there's someone like McCann who has a couple more years left, I think that kind of makes a little bit of sense. Probably not Raquel. I think that's probably a lower package for that. In a perfect world, we hold on to all of them, and those 2 shut the fuck up and stew in Utica for another year, and cook in Utica for another year. So I don't know.
Seamus Casey would not have a problem with that.
Right.
It's whether or not then Nemec starts saying that he demands a trade or whatever, and forces your hand. So that's why before things get that way, and Nemec then becomes, you're not going to get the full value from him because everybody knows he wants out. So you're going to get lowballed. I say move him now if you can, and if you can get the piece like you're saying, like a guy like McCann.
And it's hard because, to Mike's point, it's like there aren't many players that like have that actual value that Nemec does. A right-handed premium defenseman with good offensive upside, like that's a very premium asset to have. Unfortunately, we're at the mercy of the current marketplace for that we have, and there aren't a lot of sellers right now, or people that should be selling, because half of them think they're still in contention. Like, is Seattle even willing to part with McCann? And in a seller's market, you have to overpay for things. So I don't want us to fall into the trap of being like, oh, I don't like the prices, or I don't, like that's Fitz's line. It's like, I don't like the prices. Like, we have an immediate need. We have everything going right for us except for this one need. Like, if we fill that hole, I think we can make a nice little run. I don't know. It could totally backfire, but at least you took a shot.
You had to take a shot. Now, there was a name brought up today that I saw, and I did not think in any way, shape, or form that this guy, I don't even think this guy is going to be traded. But there was an article put out today. I don't even have it, but it was just Brad Marchand would fit with New Jersey. Now, I don't know if Boston's going to move him. I doubt it. But what do you guys think of that? I mean, we're talking about somebody to play with Jack and Brad. Would Brad Marchand fit that bill?
Oh, man.
No.
Bob?
It doesn't seem like the right fit. I like the player he was and what he can bring to a team, especially in the playoffs. But I don't know. I don't know if I like that.
I don't know if I like it either. But I mean,
I like balls and his loose skin. Gross.
He is old. I don't know what kind of term he has. I don't know what kind of money he has. Nor do I have any idea what Boston would want for him. And I'm just throwing a name out there. I mean, I think his style of play would serve us well in the playoffs, but That's about it. I don't know if I would make that move. And again, I don't know. I mean, right now, to be honest with you, for every trade out there that we've heard, the one that I'm kind of like, maybe we can actually pull this off is Jordan Kyrou. I honestly think we can make something happen there.
What would you give for him?
I think you'd have to give.
Marchand's a UFA after this year.
Okay, then we don't want him.
No,
we don't want him. I think Kyrou has some term. I'm pretty sure he's on 28, 29 around there.
I mean,
30.
Yeah.
So Jordan Kyrou makes sense. Well, what would you have to give up? It would definitely be a Mercer and, some picks, probably one of our second rounders, Mercer. I don't know what else. Maybe you throw in, another prospect or whatever. But that one makes sense to me. Was not a huge fan of him, but the more I'm thinking of a guy that can play with Jack, has some term, can grow with this team and be there. He's a better player than Dawson Mercer. I say, if you can do it, go get Jordan Kyrou. What do you guys think of that?
Initial thought is that it would be an upgrade. We'd have to give away Mercer, like you said, for that, but I think it's advantage us in that situation. And Mercer, listen, he's still a great player, or a good player, very good player, who may wind up being better somewhere else. We don't really know. But I know that on this team right now, just seems like we've got some options to upgrade, and it's going to take probably putting him in to do that. So I'd be game. I don't want to waste these next few years. I think we got to make some bold moves, probably bolder than this, but I don't know that those are out there.
Do we all agree that the team set up as is will not win a Stanley Cup, or do we think that this team can set up as is win a Stanley Cup?
Well, we saw pieces of a team that put it together for a long stretch of time that would make me believe they could, especially when the defense is humming and the goaltending is coming along. But, I mean, honestly, right now, if we were to start, I don't know. I think they'd have to probably get insanely hot, and almost a little streaky to get it done. They don't seem to me to be a prototypical Stanley Cup winning team.
We would need guys. We would need guys to revert back to what they're capable of. We need Timo to bury his fucking shots. We need Hala to not be awful. Like, Hala doesn't have a point in like 25 games. He's like, if you look at his stat line for the last 25 games, it's like he's not even out there. The only reason he's out there is because he has minuses next to his name. Right. Like, he's awful. Like, I don't know what happened to this guy. I don't know if he still has this lingering ankle issue. He's also, if you look at NHL Edge, the speed data, he's also lost. His top high-end speed was in the 96th percentile last year. Now he's below 50th. So, he's lost a major step. I have no idea if it's injury-related or not, but it's pretty bad. And I just wanted to mention, I saw DeCaro's comment about moving Nemec or Casey up to wing. I don't think that ever really can work at the NHL level. Just as a defenseman, and if you've been a defenseman your whole life, your instincts are totally different. It's almost like the difference between being a quarterback and a receiver. If you're looking at the breakout, you're receiving as a wing, versus being the distributor from the defenseman. Your instincts in the offensive zone are different.
Right.
It could work eventually if Casey got some run at forward in like the AHL and settled into it, but the NHL isn't really a league, I don't think, where you can just experiment like that. You have to learn and kind of drive in, and going back to the instincts, get the instincts within the system to just kind of do things the way that a forward does things and do things the way that a defenseman does things. And there's a lot that goes into being a wing along the boards, little tricks, when the puck's rimmed around to you, how to get it to stop spinning, how to get it off that yellow dasher. There's a lot of things that go into it. It's not just as simple as saying, hey, just, flip them up. Some guys can do it. Some, Brendan Smith, for fuck's sake, played forward in defense. So it's possible, but he was also a 20-year NHL veteran. So I think I've wondered about that because Casey did play some forward in Michigan. But I think at the NHL level, you can't really just kind of experiment like that.
Michael was saying he meant that one of those guys should be a trade chip for a winger. Now,
well, honestly, then I'll shut the fuck up, Michael. Sorry.
But Mike Ruff writes about Lawson Krause. Like, I forgot about him. This guy might be the answer.
He has 8 goals this year.
But he's a big, tough dude, right? I mean, This is a guy that we're looking like he's 6'4", 216 pounds. He's signed through 26-27. Let me see. He was taken number 11 overall back in the 2015 draft. So it says his elite prospects, a big body power winger with the ability to physically dominate, making him a prominent forechecking presence every night. Possesses good hands that can be used to make crisp passes, to let loose, accurate NHL-level shots paired with his strength and skating ability. His skill set allows him to contribute offensively as well as create space for teammates.
He's a guy that we've always kind of had. I've always sort of had an eye on him. You know, he's a big boy like that. You know, those are always attractive. Kind of like Trent Frederick's attractive too, even though I think Krause has a little bit more offensive upside than Frederick does.
And I like the idea of being a guy that can get in on the forecheck, especially if he was playing with Brat and Jack, you know, being able to get those loose pucks out and get them up to these guys to have them start creating plays.
Did it say it was a right shot or a left shot?
That's a good question, man. I don't know.
Because I'm like pretty autistic about them needing a right shot. I'm convinced that's what Jack needs on his wing. I don't know if there's any truth to it. It's just pure vibes, but you know, when Jack was at the program with Caulfield as his wing, they were fucking nasty together. And when Jack and Toffoli together, even though a lot of it was power play driven, that was when Jack was at his absolute best. You know, I think he had 25, something like that points in 10 games.
He plays both wings.
But is he a right shot or a left shot?
That's what he wanted to know. Is he a right shot or a left shot? Doesn't have that here, so let's find out.
I don't think he was watching the pornos, Jay Shaw. I think he was doing the pornos.
What was that? McLeod was the birthday. Yeah. Unfortunately, no, he wasn't making them. He was unfortunately, maybe he was making them without other people's consent. Fucking piece of shit. But yeah, he killed us. And there was talk now of Carter Hart coming back to Philly.
No way.
Really?
Yes. Apparently he's going to have his court date soon. And that's going to be, I guess, if it goes well for him, they were talking about that. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see. I don't know. Maybe there's incremental evidence that he just like, you know, delivered pizzas and was like, what the fuck, and left.
So AI just wrote that Lawson Krause shoots left. He plays left wing for the NHL's Utah Jazz. That's interesting. The fuck did the Jazz go to the NHL?
Nice
I mean,
job,
they don't
Elon.
have a name. It might as well be the Utah Jazz, right? So he's a left shooter, a left shot. So you're out on him now, Tim? You don't want him?
No. I take him, but you know, I don't know if he's. I still think we should be aiming higher. Like Krause, I think would be a great kind of third, fourth line guy. You know, kick Bash into the curb, or you know,
he's not the type of finisher I'm thinking of.
All right,
we just need a solid finish. I don't know. I don't know who's available. I don't know who we can grab. I want a pure goal scorer. I don't care if they don't have any other skill set.
Read Michael Dakara's last comment. Read Michael Dakara's last comment, because I could not freaking agree more. And Bobby, I know you cannot agree more. Right? And you too, Tim? Like that.
Yeah, it's like, but who? You know, like that's the problem. It's like,
is McCann that guy?
McCann's good and he's a good finisher. He's not like a massive dude. He is a little bit. He's got a little bit of a prick in him, but he's a little bit more perimeter. I don't know. Like I haven't watched him enough to know what he actually plays like.
It's all Timo's fault.
Like I was kind of impressed with Raquel. Like Raquel has a lot more to his game than I thought he did. Although he's hurt a lot and he's actually having like an absolute career season. But he was getting in the corners and digging around and being kind of a prick too. So I don't know. Besser's kind of that guy. He can be a little greasy in the corners.
Brandon Tanev is another guy that Jay Snow just brought up. Forgot about Turbo.
Yeah, he tossed him in a package with McCann.
I mean, I like Raquel a lot. And if you're putting up career numbers on that team, and that team's bad. I mean, it's just really bad. They outplayed the Rangers the other night. I mean, they dominated that game. And Soderblom or whoever the hell was in that seriously couldn't stop a fucking beach ball. I mean, it was bad. So, like, this team he's playing on, like, get him out of there. I mean, I'd be cool with Raquel up with Jack and Brat. I don't know. So Mike Rupp is saying no to Brock Besser. He's not as good as you think, he writes. I mean, dude, Brock Besser last year in the playoffs for Vancouver was a animal. I mean, he was fantastic last year in the playoffs. So, I mean, that's what I go by. Yeah, how's this guy doing in the playoffs? And he was great last year because we're going to make,
that's fair. And he'd be a rental. And if he doesn't work out, like, then I don't mind. Like I brought this up a couple times. Like, if we send Mercer off and bring Besser back and we don't sign either of them, I'm okay with that. Like, then we have a lot more money to go find like the real piece in free agency or find, it in a trade in the off season. But I don't know, Mike, he's really good looking, man. You gotta get over it.
What do you think, Bobby?
About Besser?
About Besser, yeah.
No, I'm fine with giving him a flyer on a 1 year. Like, we've talked about this before. Even if that were Mercer in that trade, I agree with Tim's assessment. Like, if you wind up losing both after the offseason, that's recoverable. And it gives us an option in something different right now. I'd be okay with that. I don't know that I prefer to trade Mercer to get him, but I understand if that's something we'd have to do.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. You're not going to be in a position where Carolina most likely is going to be, where they're going to end up losing, Rantanen and Natchez. I mean, this whole thing, I want to talk about this. Like, is Eric Kostov, whatever his name is he just not a good general manager? Because this just seems like malpractice, what's going on over there. But before we talk about that, I do have to give a little shout out to DraftKings. Well, it's a new script, guys. And it's all about the one sport that we all love. It's why we get up every morning. It might not feel like it, but spring's right around the corner. Know how you can tell? Golfers are hitting the links, and we have some tournaments to talk about. And if you want to do more than just talk, put your money where your mouth is, get in on all the tee to green action with DraftKings Sportsbook. From Thursday's opening round through to closing round Sunday, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered with tournament props, live betting, odds boosts, and so much more. If you've never bet on golf before, it's easier than you think. Just pick something simple like a golfer to win the tournament and make your pick. It's just that easy. Here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers can bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Just download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit CCPG on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort. 21 plus. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. New customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, visit dkng.co/audio. That's DraftKings Sportsbook with code THPN. The crown is yours. All right. Let's talk about the Hurricanes before we do a devil you know. All right. So
everybody, we know that first of all, Chris, good job reading that ad read.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. What am I reading here? I'm reading all the stuff that people wrote. Okay. So Carolina, they send Marty Natchez, who was having a great year for them. They send him to Colorado. They get Mikko Rantanen. We all thought, holy shit, like now they are set, right? This team is definitely now the elite team in the East when you throw Mikko Rantanen on there. And like you said earlier, Tim, he's struggling. Something's not clicking there. If it's Brindamore's system, whatever. So Colorado couldn't sign him. Now Carolina can't sign him, and apparently they offered him like a $13 million contract. So like 8 years, $13 million. And he's not interested. So now they're talking that by next Friday, flipping him again and trying to get, I guess, some of their capital back that they lost.
Very little some. Now every team knows for sure what they thought they knew, which was that you can't make a deal with this guy right now.
Right.
And now it's even worse.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very good
They're
point.
not dealing from a position of power. They're kind of like, let me just get something back. It was really not a thought out move. I think there's too much of this. Hey, we can just trade a guy and sign him. It won't be a problem. We're going to throw money out there. He's going to sign. Well, not everybody cares about that. Some people absolutely want to go to free agency, or they might just literally know there's a team they want to go. They're just not telling you. You don't know what's in their heads. It's not always about the bottom dollar, or it is. Now he's waiting for 15 million or 16. I don't know.
And supposedly there is a deal in front of him, like on the table. But if you think about it, like he just got to Carolina like
and
2 weeks ago.
Right?
Like now suddenly it's like he has to make a life-altering decision, in the next 8 days. Like that's a lot to sit on and think about. So I think eventually he's going to sign there.
With them?
Yeah, I think with them. I think he might.
I mean, he might.
I just really couched that. I was a giant pussy about it.
I think he's going to go and test the free agency market. I absolutely, whether or not he goes back to Carolina, I mean, it might be where he wants to play. It might be where he ends up. But I think that he's played for the Avalanche his whole career. He's never, you earn this as a player. You earn that UFA status. And you play your ass off to get paid. This is a short period of your life that you have to be an NHL superstar and to make a shitload of money. So, yeah, I don't begrudge a guy at all for saying, okay, so like you said too, Tim, I've been here 2 weeks, man. Let's just pump the brakes a little bit. And now you're throwing $13 million contract at me. I'm being told that, I'm going to get traded if I don't sign it. I don't even know where I'm going to be in a week. I thought that, I'd at least play it out here for this year. And now you're telling me that I might not even be here. I get why he's might be a little apprehensive to signing it.
That also does some damage to Carolina free agency wise. Like if that's like how they treat people, like hopefully we'll see the end of this. Go ahead, Bob.
He's under no obligation to do anything. Like you said, first of all, Carolina just set the bar at 13 million. He's going to get at least that from them or some other team. I don't think it's about the money in that regard. It's all going to be ballpark. Maybe he just doesn't want to live in that area. Like you said, he got traded. He's like, whoa, I don't know that I want to be a Hurricane.
Right.
And again, if that's the money's going to be there, he can go into free agency, find out nobody else cares about him and still go back to Carolina because that would help them save face. So he's got absolutely no reason at this point not to just fully go out and test.
Yeah. It's like, do I want my kid to grow up and sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think a big reason why they're trying to do this now is because they have such a bad taste in their mouth from the Jake Getzel shit last year, and they thought they were going to have him locked up and then he just scampers down to Tampa. And I think that really burned their asses and they feel like, okay, we got to get this guy signed now. Now, personally, I would have told Mikko Rantanen, I would have done what Tom Fitzgerald did with Timo. Play it out this year. Let's see, let's see how, if you like it, and we'll talk, after the season. Let's try and win a cup right now. And that's it. I would have just put his mind at ease that he's going to be here this year and try and get the best out of him. But I just think that all this shit that's going on, it's going to fuck this team up. They do not, and look, when we were going to play them in the first round, we can definitely lose that series. But if we make the right moves, I like us. I think we have better goaltending. I think we have better top six. I like us in that. And if we can shore up our bottom six, I would take us over Carolina.
Yeah, we got somebody back. The decor, their decor is probably a little bit better, but we're on par there.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And I keep coming back to this third line center. That's supposed to be Holla, and I don't know what happened to this guy, but that's why I keep thinking like that is still the most position. We've talked a lot about finding a wing for Jack to bump Palat down, but I still think that third line center is a more important position.
I agree.
And I don't know if Evans is good enough to take the reins in that role. I don't think Donato is. I still think we should aim as high as Ryan O'Reilly. I still like the idea of O'Reilly. So I don't know. It's tough, but like it's the same thing that we keep talking about. It's like, who is even available from what teams? There's so few really bad teams that have assets to sell. And there I'm frozen again.
So yeah, there you are.
All right, give me a second. I'll be right back.
All right, go ahead. And then we'll play devil when you come back.
Yeah.
All right. So, Carolina has been our, Achilles heel,
Yeah.
right? Bobby, do you think, though, if we make the right moves, you think that, that to me is the best first round matchup. I mean, Devils Carolina is going to be great, but I like our chances. I
They
also
scare the
think,
shit out of me.
yeah,
They always do. Like you said, right? We need something to change or show me something in these next 20 some odd games. But without that depth at 3C and a guy like Palat playing on the first line, I'm just not going in with a ton of confidence. I do like our defense. I like our goaltending. I think that even if we didn't get the perfect scoring winger to play with Jack and Bratt, that's not the end of the world as far as playoffs go to me. Like, I want to see a strong 3C. I want to be really strong down the middle. But yeah, they totally scare me, dude. I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna tell you that they're gonna win that round, but I would not be surprised if they didn't. I don't. Carolina doesn't. They don't go away. Like,
No,
we all
they
had them
don't.
pegged. Look at everybody they lost this season. Wow, they're gonna lose a step, and maybe you can argue that they did lose a step, but we really thought they were gonna lose multiple steps, and they really didn't.
I thought they would be struggling for a playoff spot. I really did,
And they scared the shit out of me.
Jason was right about Holla. Like, he has been a waste this year. I mean, Tim talks about it. We all talk about it.
Yeah.
Somebody had written, I don't know where it is, but would you make a move, Timo Meyer for Mikko Rantanen, like right now?
Oh boy. So you're giving up 7 years of term for a guy that
We're giving up 7 years of term for a rental, and he already won a cup, and we all know what Mikko Rantanen can do. And Tim's having trouble getting back in.
Yeah, I don't know that I would do that.
I don't know if I would either.
I mean, you got 7 more years, whatever. And I still believe that Timo Meyer is a better player than what we're getting. I've been busting his balls a lot lately, and I am tired of the narrative that he's playing well and all that. And I understand all that, but I mean, we need production from him big time. And like you, though, I am very excited to see. I think he's going to flip the switch for the playoffs.
I hope so.
I think he's an asset.
Yeah, I really hope he does. There's quite a few guys on this team that I think have another level come playoff time. I think Paul Cotter and Stefan Nason, even Andre Palat. We saw him really step up 2 years ago against the Rangers. He had a great series. So Brendan Dillon, like, I expect that physicality to kind of get ramped up from those guys. So and Timo is the big one. And you look at this team right now, and if Timo Meyer was just doing his bare minimum of what he's done throughout his career,
right,
this team is a lot better. Like,
we're not even talking about the winging scenario. We're really focusing straight on a player down the middle. Like, that would be our wish list.
Yeah. 100%. So, like,
I still like Palat and what he will bring in a playoff situation, but I've said this a million times. I want him bringing that in a third, fourth line role.
Right.
I just don't want him up in the first 2 lines in the playoffs. I don't need that kind of. I don't know. I just don't want that there. I want him where the lines were constructed at the beginning of the season, how this was supposed to shake up, is what I'm really looking forward to. I want a third line that is just everything about the playoffs. Man, that's where you win.
Our third line has been god awful. I mean, it really has. It's been terrible. And we've been doing it all. Most of this season has been, the top 2, mostly Jack and Heischer. Like, we have to start we've talked about it a million times, right? Playoff time rolls around. We got 24 games left. When playoff time comes, trust me, one thing Rob Brindamore is going to make sure he does is take Jack and Nico out. He's going to do everything he can to make sure that they are not going to win the series for the Devils. That might be really bad if nobody else steps up. So, Tim, I'll ask you, Timo Meyer for Mikko Rantanen right now.
Right now?
Right now.
No.
No?
No.
3 no's?
Why?
No. Timo Meyer for Mikko Rantanen 1-for-1?
Yeah.
We have Timo. I mean, we give up Timo just for the potential that he might sign with
Timo
us.
Like, if Rantanen comes 7 years of Timo Meyer for Mikko Rantanen for a playoff run.
for 2 months? No, I'm not doing that.
Okay. All right.
I believe in
We agree.
Timo. I still think he has it in him, and I think he's going to be an absolute fucking horse for us in the playoffs.
He better be. He better be. All right.
He's
How
no
about
shit.
you guys want to play a little game?
I like games.
Yeah,
Me too.
yeah.
Are you ready?
This is my
Tim?
first time
This is
asking these questions, so I went a little overboard. I got it all ready here.
It's all good.
All right.
All right. We are going to play Devil You Know in just a minute as soon as I figure out.
Wait, do we
where
have chat? Do we have chat rules?
Yeah, don't give us the answers.
All right. Well, okay. So we're going to play Devil You Know. So I guess, yeah, we don't want the chat guys to give us the answer. So tonight it'll be Tim. He's going to give us a bunch of clues for a former New Jersey Devil player. Myself and Bobby get 3 incorrect guesses before we're eliminated. We can ask Tim any question he wants, and he can or cannot answer. It is completely up to him. And basically, the only rule is that this player has to not be a Devil anymore. Any questions? No? Good.
No, I'm good.
Shall we play a game?
Buckle up, boys and girls. It is time for the Devil You Know on the Uncle Pucker New Jersey Devil Podcast.
All right.
All right, Mr. Tim, whenever you're ready, buddy.
All right. This former Devil was born on April 23rd, 1988 in St. Louis, Missouri.
Cam Jansen.
No.
No? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
That's -1. He
Yeah.
was drafted by the Flyers in the 6th round.
Flyers in the 6th round.
While playing high school hockey in St. Louis, he was noticed by Al McInnes and Kelly Chase, who then convinced him to go play for their new North American Hockey League expansion team, the Texarkana Bandits, where he would play for his future NHL coach, John Cooper.
Went a long way on that one. I like it.
I did.
Okay, hang on.
I thought
hang
it
on,
was
hang
fun.
on.
I also got a call from the Texarkana Bandits after college to go play for them, and I told them to go fuck themselves.
I thought you were
So
making
is
that
this,
up.
No,
this guy is no longer a player, or is he?
I didn't say if he was or wasn't.
I know, I'm asking. Is he active?
We'll get there.
Okay.
So probably.
After getting
Right.
drafted, he was assigned to the London Knights after decommitting from Ferris State University. He is 6'3", 234 pounds.
Defenseman?
Didn't say.
Big guy.
Okay, I'm asking.
He won the he won the IIHF Inline Hockey World Championships in 2010, and in 7 games he had 14 points. He had 7 goals and 14 points in 6 games. Over his NHL career, in 829 games to date, he's had 124 goals and 193 assists.
How many games? Sorry.
In 829 games.
800.
Oh, shit.
He was first in penalty minutes in the entire league in 22-23.
First in penalty minutes, 22, 23.
Entire league.
Entire league. He's 10th currently in penalty minutes of all active players with 1,061.
So there you
Alright,
go.
so
He's active.
He's still playing, but is he still playing with Tampa Bay? All right, dude, I get it. It's easy. All right, we're trying here.
A lot of pressure when you're on camera.
All right, these next couple clues should help. Okay. In 2020, he became the 3rd player to win consecutive cups with 2 different teams.
Patrick Maroon.
That
Fuck
is
you.
Is that right?
God damn it.
That's
I was
correct,
just
yes.
about to freaking say Patty Maroon. All
I
right,
love
good
Patty
one, Bob.
Maroon.
Good one.
He was
only-
awesome.
he
He
only
was a good
played-
devil.
He only played 17 games for us.
Yeah, he didn't like
It was a
it
good
either.
17 games.
It was a good
Very
17
memorable.
games. My next
Uh,
comment's great. In 2022, Jack Edwards called him fat.
Is that right?
You remember that? And yeah, the Boston guy was like, "This is Pat Maroon, that fat fuck. He's gonna go eat another slice of pizza or something."
Where is he now? Chicago?
He's in Chicago. Yeah,
Okay.
that's the next thing. He's on his 8th team and his 4th team in 4 years.
Yeah, but for a while there, he did have a little bit of a cup thing going on, right? He won it with the Blues. He
Yeah,
won it with Tampa twice.
he's the
Everywhere he
only
was.
he's the only player to win 3 in a row with different teams.
Different teams.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a fun
That
little
is awesome.
game. Nice job, Bob.
Yeah, that was.
I can't believe he only played 17 games.
It seems
he
like
hurt
his
that
tenure
game
was
too?
longer. He
Yeah.
had knee surgery afterwards, and that's when he went to St. Louis, I think.
He didn't like it here.
I don't think he did. He didn't want to
No.
leave Edmonton. When I was reading up on him, he didn't want to leave Edmonton. But he was pretty good with us. He had 13 points in 17 games.
Man,
Yeah, big net front guy. He did his job well.
Yeah.
That was with Taylor Hall, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so.
He made the
Yeah.
run.
Yeah. The
Oh,
big
was he
rig.
on
run,
that
I
team
mean,
that
when we
made
made the
the
playoffs.
playoffs? Was he on that team?
I don't know. That was
Or
the
did he
year.
come the next
That was
year?
the year before. He still played with Taylor Hall, but that was the year before. He was like our
He-
big trade deadline acquisition.
Right. Yeah, he's definitely you're right. He's slow as fuck, but he was like you said,
Who was
third or
saying it
fourth
was
line
easy?
guy that can just sit in front of the net, and he was tough to move. And I liked him. That's the kind
I
of
wonder
guy
if
we
someone's
kind
going
of
to
need.
trade for him at this. I wonder if someone's going to trade for him at this deadline. He's so fucking slow, man. He is so bad at hockey now. Like,
What about Tyler Bertuzzi? Speaking of Chicago, I think he has a big contract, but
yeah,
I always liked Tyler Bertuzzi. And if you go back 2 years ago when he was with the Bruins, he had a good playoff. And that was the year that Florida beat them in the first round, and Florida lost to Vegas. So in the finals, but he had a good playoff. Like, what about Tyler Bertuzzi? Like, is there anybody on Chicago that maybe might be interested in?
I think Donato's the name that kind of keeps popping up to fill in that 3C. I really don't know much about Donato, but Bertuzzi's always been interesting, but I think that's more because of his last name, and he's a kind of a psychopath.
And I think Jason knows right. I'm pretty sure he does have a big contract. It's a lot of time.
Yeah, I think it's
a
a lot of term and a lot of money.
This
He
was
also,
3
like,
years ago. We really
doesn't-
were dialed in on him.
Yeah. He doesn't use tape on a stick and doesn't have a knob on a stick. Like, that's real psychopath behavior.
Fair enough.
Like, he just
Now-
takes it off the rack and just uses it. Like, that's weird.
I have a
That is
question.
really fucking weird.
So Connor Bedard's been getting a lot of shit this year, right? Curious what you guys think of him and the fact that he has been getting this shit. Like, I'm not a giant fan of Connor Bedard. Like, I'll take Macklin Celebrini over him any day of the week. But like, do you think that it's fair, kind of the shit that he's getting, or is this just sour grapes from some people, or what? Because PK called him out. I think Biz called him out.
Biz called him out. Yeah.
That was it, Biz.
Like, what's he supposed to do? Like, that team is awful. The guys he has playing with him are awful, and I feel bad for him. Like he's not having a bad season at all. Like, hang on one second, I'm pulling up his numbers. But
Mike, are you saying that Connor Bedard's the biggest stick in the league? I'm curious because I have heard that he is a bit of a dick. So I'm curious if that's what you're talking about. Yeah.
You're saying Bedard's a dick?
He said that he said that,
I don't have the YouTube. Having the YouTube open is what crashes my computer.
And there was...
He's got he's got 49 points in 57 games. He's not awful. I mean,
yes, he is. He's not awful, no, but he's not doing what they expected him to do. And I get that his team is shit.
Look at who he's playing with.
Like, I understand that his team is shit, but you do expect Chicago to at some point get better. Even if the guys around him aren't elite players, like, you still can't be bottom of the fucking league.
But that was what Tyler Bertuzzi was brought in to be, and he's having a
Taylor Hall
got
they
traded.
him. I get that.
Foligno's old. Seth Jones sucks.
Yeah.
Like, Teuvo Teravainen. Like,
how about Teravainen? Would you take him?
I'd look him? Maybe, yeah. I mean, they have some good kind of younger pieces like Reichel and Alex Vlasic, and I think what's the kid's name? Frank Nazar. And then they have the kid that's at Michigan State, I think, or maybe he's in the AHL now. I forget his name. But they have some good kids coming up. But it's just like the second year of Bedard. Like, I feel like we shouldn't be like judging these kids too early. I feel like we got so spoiled with like Sidney Crosby and Connor McDavid and Austin Matthews with the first overall picks. So we saw it ourselves with Jack Hughes. Like
They're so young.
We shouldn't jump on these kids so early.
You have this, first round picks need to go right to the NHL mentality, and you think they're going to take over. Some kids just take a little more time. It's like a little boy.
I wouldn't give Connor Bedard a fucking second thought if he wasn't a dick. And that's like when they had what was it? They were doing, was it like an outdoor game or something? They were doing some kind of special game, and they had a bunch of the alumni there, and like Jeremy Roenick was there and said Connor Bedard was the only one that didn't shake his hand. And I know Chelios came out and said that was a bit overblown, and Roenick was kind of shitting on him, but still, I just think I don't like the kid. I just don't like him. I don't like his attitude. I don't like him.
If there are two opinions and one of them is Roenick's and one of them is Chelios's, I'm going to believe Chelios.
I am too. Yeah. But I'm just saying I'm just not a big fan of him. Like I said, I'll take Macklin Celebrini any day of the week. So in
conclusion, you don't like Connor Bedard.
I do not like Connor Bedard. I don't like him.
Just to make that clear.
There's not many players I genuinely just don't freaking like. He's one of them. In a matter of 2 short years, I've managed to just not like him at all. Another guy
we got him for a bag of pucks. You'd be like, nah, fuck this guy. I don't want him on my team.
Bag of pucks?
Not literally.
I don't know. It's a pretty good offer, Bob.
I would take.
Well, no, we're talking new pucks. Like what? Like
hey man, 3C would be a lot better if it was Connor Bedard there.
What kind of bag are we talking about? Like a nice nylon bag?
Right. That's the other thing.
Like, are we talking like a cracked bucket?
Yeah. Like if it's a cracked bucket, maybe, yeah, definitely do it. If it's a nice bag, I don't know.
Nice bag and a Mercer.
What about Teravainen? That's interesting.
Yeah, Teravainen, he played for Brind'Amour for a long time, so he's got, that you're getting guys when they play for Carolina that they know how to play the right way. They work their asses off every shift, blah blah blah. Now I don't know what he's doing. I mean, sure, in Chicago it's probably hard to work your ass off every shift because by the time the puck's is dropped in the first period, all you're trying to do is get the hell out of there. So,
yeah, they're just like an embarrassingly bad team. That's got to be frustrating. Like that's got to be frustrating. Like you're supposed to be like this. The next generation. The next star coming up, and none of the guys around you are fucking worth anything. I'd be kind of a little arrogant about it too. I'd be like who the fuck are these guys that you're putting with me? Like, you kidding?
You don't have that equity in the league to get.
Right. Well, I have no equity. I don't even have that equity in beer league. All right. Like the guys on my team basically tell me to dress in the toilet because
like what they used to do to the Miz when he started wrestling.
Yeah. They're like
room all the time.
Basically, I'm like the Forrest Gump. They're like, can't sit here. Seat's taken.
Everywhere I went, I was skating. So
hey, I did have a golden assist last night. Let's see.
Teravainen?
I did. No big deal.
You did. Look at you.
Yeah. Look at me.
Good.
He's got 3 years left at 5.4. That's probably a little rich for him. And he's 30 already.
And to answer your question,
he's never really,
yes, we are done with Nemec. We've seen enough. What, Tim?
Yeah, again, for a guy for that salary, no, I'd say no. Unless
what's his salary?
Chicago doesn't. 5.4 for the next 3 years. And he's,
yeah, they overpaid for a lot of guys this offseason.
He's a 50-point guy, 20 goals. I don't know. Is that Mercer all over again? Like, I don't know. Like maybe a little bit like an incremental
better
version of Mercer.
More money too. So,
so it's a hat on a hat here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
I'm just so excited to see what he ends up doing, Fitz, because I mean, there's so many options, and I think we have quite a bit of capital that we can move. But I think it does come down to what you guys are saying. Like, is he going to have the balls to actually pull the trigger on something big? And if that is,
and I don't get into this hoarding prospects. That's look into the future. He needs to balance the longer term and short term, and I think now is the time to tip that scale back towards the short term. Like, we've been building for so goddamn long. Like, now is the time. We only have so
Right.
many more years of Jack's current contract, so many more years of Nico's current contract, so many more years of their prime. Like, we can't keep wasting that. Brad's having the best season of his career. Brad has more assists than Connor McDavid, for fuck's sake.
I know.
The
by one.
goaltending that we're getting, the decor that we have. Like, we can't waste this. Our only glaring hole is scoring, and hopefully there'll be some regression amongst positive regression amongst like Timo and Hala and some of the other scrubs that we have in the bottom six. We get that one more scoring piece and one more kind of 3C. I think we're probably back to being one of the best teams in the league.
What do you think, Bay?
Well, I think they have to go for it and make a move, but it doesn't. You're going to overpay, a little bit when you're trying to pull those pieces in at the end of the year. But I would still say it has to make sense, because this, to me, really smells of something we're going to need to address with bigger moves and bigger decisions in the offseason, when more people are available, when better trade packages can be put out there. I've been saying it basically all year. I don't know exactly what it is, but I feel like we need a big, scary hockey trade. And I don't know who that's going to be. I saw some people commenting about, like, would you break up the core if we lost in the first round and things like that. I don't know that I'm going that far, because to me, I don't know that the core extends well past 2, maybe 3, 4 guys.
I mean, that's what we have to really kind of figure out. Well, who's the core? Because in my opinion, the core is Nico, Brat, and Jack. Those are the 3 dudes. Is there anybody else that you would put in that core?
I think because of his responsibility and paycheck, a lot of people just assume that Timo is part of that core. He's got length of term. He's supposed to be something different. He's core. But if you ask me, core are 2 people I'm not moving ever, and that's Jack and Nico.
So, Stan, if we lose in the first round to Carolina,
Dougie.
Well, let's just talk forwards right now.
I will.
I know. You fucking jacked off on your fucking couch the other night when he came out to do his interview with no shirt on. I know. I'm sure the pants were off and the Jergens was flowing like fucking Jergens. But anyway,
I don't get the post game, thank God.
I'm just if we lose in the first round. I saw they had no shirt on too. I was just, when I was fast forwarding through, I was like, "Why is he doing this with no shirt
I had
on?"
Nashville. I had Nashville's broadcast.
Oh, okay.
Well, we had the Nashville feed for NHL Network, because for some reason they put Nashville, New Jersey on the NHL Network. Like, that's gonna fucking attract it.
I'll tell you though, I was telling Tim, because I was texting him when I was watching the game. I didn't want to text you too late because I figured that you had to get up for work tomorrow morning. But so it was funny. Like, about 6 minutes left in the third, Spalding and Danico and Bryce are talking about the upcoming schedule, and they're talking about the Colorado game. And so he's like, yeah, and both goalies, we remember what Scott Wedgwood did to the Devils when Colorado played here earlier in the season. And then, Mackenzie Blackwood for the Sharks, and he came in and they both had they both did very good. He stopped himself from saying shutout. It was so funny. I was like, wow, he caught himself there, and yeah, he's like, I didn't want to be blamed on that one. Yeah. But if we were to lose in the first round to Carolina, and if we are agreeing that our core is Brat, Nico, Timo, and Jack, then yes, I would consider moving Timo Meier. It wouldn't be the other 3. It would, if Timo Meier doesn't come through in the playoffs, then he legitimately, for 2.5 years, little less than that, has given you nothing from what you've expected from him. So I think at that point you have to really try, and because look, the Rangers probably aren't going to make the playoffs this year, but if they don't make the playoffs, they're going to go out there and offer Mikko Rantanen $18 million a fucking year. They're going to go and try and get whoever they can to make this team better. So you're going to have to deal with them. Like, we have to get our pieces in place, and we have to start now. The window's open, and like I said, I think the Eastern Conference is wide open right now. And the Devils have just as much of a shot to win it, where I think the 4 nations just put the fucking kibosh on Florida going back, because now we don't know if Matthew Tkachuk's even going to play again this year. And you still have Brady Tkachuk sitting out in Ottawa. Like, was it worth it? Was it worth it? Like, seriously? No. I mean, I'm happy that it's happening to them. I can't stand those guys. Or their teams. But I'm just saying, like Michael writes here that Timo is not part of the core. I see where he's coming. I said those three, and then Bobby, you're right. Like I guess you kind of, if you go by his contract and you go by his term and his value, or
what he's supposed to
contract.
be.
Yeah, he's part of the core. But
so in that regard, I'd answer the question too. If we lost in the first round to Carolina, first of all, I'm not going to be too shocked by that. I would at least expect a good series. But if we legit lost to Carolina and played well, I'm not panicking over that. But going back specifically to Timo, I've said it all along, I got like a love-hate relationship with this guy. I love the idea of having Timo on this team. I hate the fact that I haven't seen shit from him, basically, outside of getting in people's faces in the Rangers series. And I just feel like for as much as I like him, it doesn't matter. It seems like a failed experiment. It really does. It seems like he needs a fresh start somewhere else. We'd get a big hockey return type of trade. I don't know who that would be, but just something totally different.
That would be, I think, if we get like the doors blown off us by Carolina in the first round, something obviously drastic has to change. And I view Brat, Jack, Nico, but I mean I would consider, if Ottawa doesn't make the playoffs, I would consider Brat for Brady. I would consider Timo for Brady. I don't like that kind of game-changing type of trade. You toss in Mercer there too for all the fucking I care. But yeah, like I do. Luke will be part of the core. He's going to be a long-term piece. But that's I don't know, like that term has been I think kind of overused. Basically coming from Toronto with their core four nonsense, and I think we have those three guys that were born and bred with the Devils, drafted, developed here, and that's really kind of it. Everything else is sort of a piece around it, and that's why I think Fitz, has such a hard on for Mercer, because he is a Devil drafted. He is one of his guys. Like that's exactly. It's just like Fitz doesn't have a ruthlessness that some of the other more destination-y type of GMs have, like Zito or Vegas, and even this this little neuroscientist in Carolina. He's always predicated his work and the way he views his team building on patience and selling New Jersey as a great place to live. But I don't know how many other times we can say this. Like he needs to. This is a defining trade deadline for him.
Yeah, 100%. This is defining. I think postseason. I mean, even Brat, like we can't have Brat do what he did the last postseason, the last playoff. Like he has to contribute. He can't fucking disappear. And he didn't even. I think he had 2 points the whole playoff run the last time. Like you can't. I'm fine with your 1,000 assists. Set them up. Then that's your job. That's who you're going to be. Okay, then be that. And
which he did.
Like right. And Michael's right in here about like kind of Timo and can he be? And we've talked about this. Can he be Claude Lemieux come playoff time? I think he can.
Yeah, and he was like against the Rangers. Like he was so in Igor's head. Like but we need that again against Carolina.
And I also think that I don't know. I got such a good vibe off of that Nashville game, and just now going on the road, 4 more games and some tough ones. I mean, you still got to play Dallas again. They beat you a week ago. You still got to beat Vegas, who whooped your ass, before the Four Nations. Colorado, last time you played them, shut you out. All right, you beat Utah. So basically the next 4 teams, 3 of them beat you bad. I feel really good coming out of that Nashville game. I do think that this is going to be the start of a run. Get back to 3 out of 4, 4 out of 5 for the next, handful of games and start feeling really good. Get the trades done. I'm just getting nervous that Fitz isn't going to do anything. I really hope that's not the case, but I'm getting nervous with that. Like there's the only rumblings that we're hearing are, kind of speculating guys that write for bullshit it's nothing from
Yeah.
James Nichols, nothing from Elliot Friedman, nothing from the true insiders saying the Devils are big on player X. None of that.
Yeah, well, the only guys we've heard are Donato and Evans with any kind of credibility, and Evans and Evans and Evans and Evans. I feel like he's going to wind up being a Devil. That and if that's him, and like if there's one other piece, great. But like the big swings and the big pieces, I don't know if I've ever or can't remember one. And if the chat wants to help us out, like a big trade deadline acquisition lifting a team to a cup. It's always the depth guys. It's always that third line guy. It's always that fourth line guy that kind of helps bolster your depth, because those are the sickos that actually win you games.
Trying to think of a major. I mean, would you consider the Ray Bork trade a big one? I mean, that's probably the last one that I can think of is him going to Colorado and winning the cup, or Patrick.
That was a little bit more bigger name than ability at that stage of his career, though.
What about Patrick Waugh? I mean, he came over first year and won the cup in '96 with Colorado.
Yeah, that's probably a really good example.
But you're right. It's usually those character guys. It's the guys that play that third or fourth line, the Paul Cotters of the world.
It's why I was so up on getting Nason back here and seeing what he was doing earlier in the year and performing like that on the third line. Because again, that's just where I want to see him come playoff time. I think there's so much value in having his type of game down there. The problem is we're still trying to figure out who's scoring on the top two.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of work to be done, but I think that this is they're kind of setting them. So like I said, I like the way they looked against Nashville, and I think they can go in and beat the Avs tomorrow. I really do. I don't give a shit that Blackwood is playing out of his head right now. They've been struggling since the Four Nations. They've dropped both games last weekend. I think
Colorado's a very top heavy team. Yeah, they have McKinnon and Makar. That's
they're one line
and Blackwood. Yeah, they're one line. Like we can shut them out. Nico, give Nico that assignment and just let Jack run roughshod. We were nervous about that Florida trip, and we went in and kicked the shit out of all those teams. So
that's true.
I don't know. I want to see consistency, and I want to see process, and I want to see not finishing consistently for 3, 4, 5 games in a row. We've been so inconsistent this entire year. It's time to knock that shit off.
We need to win more than 3 in a row. We have not won more than 3 games in a row in 2 years, guys.
No, it's about to happen. They're about to win 23 in a row.
Then we'll probably get swept in the playoffs. I don't think that Jason. No, I don't think that the Devils played horrible defensively against Nashville. I think they played hard, not great in the second period, but I thought they cleaned it up pretty good in the third. I mean, that's just me. I thought they cleaned it up pretty much in the third.
They got a little leaky with a couple of chances, but other than that, they were pretty solid. They're much better. I think play wise, they were much better against Dallas. They just didn't finish. Nashville, they just managed to finish everything. Daws had an outstanding game against Nashville. He was just absolutely
Daws was fantastic. Yeah, we did give up a lot of grade A chances, and Daws came through. He looked great, and I would even consider possibly starting Daws against Colorado. I mean, why not? Give him a little pat on the back. Congratulations. You had a shutout. Go do it again. I would be fine with that. I like the way that him and Allen have been playing. So I wouldn't have a problem with that. I mean, you do have the back-to-back coming up over the weekend. I think that's Vegas and Utah, and not necessarily in that order. So you're probably going to have Daws against Utah. So I don't know what they decide to do with them, but I would be okay with that.
I honestly, I don't mind either goalie. It's not even something I'm really even worried about or considering. I'm okay with both of them. That's actually pretty remarkable. They don't even have to worry about that. Yeah. It just, which either one of them starts, I'm more than confident.
Especially because you're talking about 2 and 3 on the chart here. You're not talking about 1 and 2. You're talking about 2 and 3, and you're still equally as comfortable.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, I mean, and I like that Markstrom took the trip. So maybe he'll be back, a little bit sooner. But that's the one thing we can definitely put our heads on our pillow at night and not worry. That's the last
thing we need.
About
Markstrom comes back. We lose 5-4, and everybody freaks the fuck out. And now we're going to run with this guy who can't stop a puck. It's going to be crazy.
Markstrom will be fine. Markstrom will be fine.
Vezina winner.
once we get that couple of pieces, hopefully in the trade deadline, Markstrom comes back come playoff time. Devils should be formidable. Tim, question: what's the deal with Lene over in Liga Liga? Can he play at the end of the year? I can't remember the rules on that. So I guess he's talking about the guy we drafted 2 years ago,
Lenny
Heckham.
Hamaniho.
Yeah, who
I don't
I
know
read a
what.
lot is very similar. I've heard comps to him to Sergey Brylin, which is very interesting.
I'm trying
So what's his story?
I'm trying to see when the Liga season ends. I don't know. I don't know if Jay Snow knows. But I'm guessing regular season ends April 2025. So he may come over. And just like Gritsuk, I don't know. Like they'd have to sign their ELCs. It'd be black aces for the playoffs. I don't know if they didn't see the light of day, or if it's just end your season and we'll sign your ELCs for next season. I think they are eligible once his contract's over. Like they're eligible to come over and do that if they want to. I don't know if we would want to, because there are rules around the ELC and when they sign, and and when then, like, if they sign and play in a certain amount of games, I'm not sure how that works with playoffs. Burning a year of that first year of the ELC. So I'm guessing we'll see both of them next year. But with as bad as Fitz, his first round draft picks are starting to kind of seem, he's really seems to have hit on some later round picks, which is pretty interesting. So, this kid Herman Traft, and there's this Matvey Miloshotz or something like that, who's tearing up the QMJHL. So,
just making people up.
Yeah, he does that a lot.
I know. We got that guy, Stewie Bonaducci. He's good.
At least I make it sound like a normal fucking like European name.
Oh,
not some guy who sells pizza and has a cousin who's a garbage man on Staten
All
Island.
right. Well, apparently you just pissed off all the Bonaducci's that listen. So, all right, I think we're going to wrap this thing up unless you guys have anything else you want to discuss tonight.
No. Fuck you,
Big
Mercer.
game
Get off my team.
tomorrow. Devils are heading out to Colorado, play the Avalanche. It's a 9:30 Eastern start, so everybody make sure that you're on it. And remember, we will be on any trades, anything that happens. We will do an emergency show, emergency live stream as soon as we are all available and get on and discuss it. So hopefully you guys can come on and hang out with us. Thanks, guys. This was a lot of fun. Love chatting with everybody.
Tell your friends.
Next time maybe we'll get 6-7 people. You never know. I mean, who knows? We're blowing the fuck up.
Yeah, when Pucker Nation, we have the OGs. We'll remember you guys, Jason Dubs and Mike Ruff.
That's it. That's it.
And
guys, have a wonderful night. Mercer for toilet bowl cleaner. I can get behind that. All right, boys. Have a wonderful evening. Again, if you're on the YouTube channel, please subscribe, thumbs up, like, download, subscription, positive comment, whatever the fuck it is. You guys know what to do. We appreciate you all. We're the Uncle Puckers. For Tim and Bob, I'm Chris, and we'll see you when we see you.
Bye-bye.
Fuck you, Valley.
It's over, Johnny. It's over!
I like doing the live stream because then I don't have